Hello and welcome to another episode of Stanton Gossip that we totally did not restart because I couldn't say the name of the show.
No, that absolutely
never
this is the first take and it was perfect.
Yep, first take. I mean, I just told Masa I'm doing this for the first time. I'm a little bit nervous. Hope you guys don't mind.
Everybody cut him some slack.
Yeah.
You know, he's brand new.
For those who don't know, it's a shorter out of two podcasty kind of take things that we do. We go over some media stuff that happens around StarCitizen throughout the last week and try to share with you if we think it's worth sharing. And sometimes we struggle with this, which hang on with us until the end and we'll tell you a couple of things that we might be changing some things about this show. But yeah, the other show that we're doing, if you don't know, or if you're only listening to Stanton Gossip, if you click on our channel, you can go and check out Try It Out of Stanton. Now, you might not like this, or it might not be to your liking for numerous reasons, because it might last up to 5 hours sometimes. And yes, we do it every freaking week.
We haven't officially hit the 5-hour mark.
I think we did
for recording, anyways. No, I think we came close. Yeah,
before and after, it's like over 8 hours.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. We've done 8 hours, like, you know, with pre-show and everything like that for sure. But yeah,
you know what's funny? We can be negative there, especially me sometimes, and people think that I hate StarCitizen or whatever.
Everybody can be salty. Well, yeah.
But if you think about it, like, I wouldn't be investing 8 hours plus every week.
Yeah.
Staying up until like 6 a.m. to upload and everything if I hated StarCitizen. Like, we're not making any money of this or everything. It's just like, we really like the project. That's what it is.
Passion project for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Alrighty. So, this week, I'm gonna let you start. The first video we have is from Subliminal. If you guys don't know him, he's like one of the pillars, right?
Exactly. Subliminal is kind of one of the guys that like is kind of the most into the guts of you know, the metas and like what all the different items and all the different stats of items and stuff like that are. If you want like deep dives and guides and gear guides and stuff like that, like Subliminal's kind of one of those staple names for people who are really trying to get into StarCitizen on a deeper level. And he put out a video this week where he's just, it's kind of more of like a conglomeration from his streams where he just kind of ranks the combat ships in 3.14 on his kind of based on his opinions, and he says that flat out, you know, like, this is kind of where I see these ships kind of falling as far as in order of effectiveness, and yeah, he just goes through them all alphabetically, you know, from the numbered origin ships, you know, again focusing on combat ships, and just kind of like, you know, takes it from the perspective of like, again, what he knows about kind of the back end and the meta and all the numbers and stuff like that, and his experience, and just kind of like ranks them on a fun little chart with the icons and stuff like that, which, yeah, I don't know, it was pretty fun. I mean, obviously, again, like he said, it's subjective, you know, but I think for the most part, what he was saying was pretty accurate as far as I understand it. There were a couple things I disagreed with as far as his ratings and stuff like that, but I definitely picked up some information that I actually wasn't aware of, with respect to like different loadout changes and stuff like that on certain ships. Like, for example, I don't have an arrow, so I didn't know this, but yeah, apparently the arrow can't swap out that top mount for a fixed size 3 anymore.
It cannot. When you sent me a message, it was like, I thought you were saying that it can. I was like, it always could. I'm like, what?
So you can't do 3 fixed size 3s on the arrow anymore. It's stuck as basically you can fixed mount 2 size 3s, but the one up top is stuck as 2 size 1s, which interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, I think arrow at times was stronger than Gladius, and that just makes no sense, right? Especially from their perspective, if they're like selling ships for real money. I mean, the price difference is there, both in
Yeah,
game
from a
and
lore perspective, the Arrow is supposed to replace the Gladius. Like the Gladius is the old ship. It's the old fighter.
well, yeah, but not
The
in
Arrow
terms of
is the
firepower, like not that alpha damage or whatever. It's more of like agility, like whatever, like maneuverability and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
think.
Personally, that's always kind of one of the things about the lore I didn't really get with the Arrow. Like, it's supposed to be their next gen light fighter, but like when you look at it statistically, it looks just overall worse than the Gladius. Like,
I mean,
has less shields.
There's so much though. You can pack them more in the carriers, right?
That
you
is
can,
true. Like with the way they fold up, you could
Yeah.
probably hold like 20% more fighters. So if
Sure.
your pilots are if you're basically going full on evil empire like in Star Wars, and you just want TIE fighters en masse, then I guess.
But
I
also,
guess that's it.
It's not only numbers, but like I feel like she's supposed to be more agile, kind of, and easier to maneuver with in the atmosphere, right? So she is like her cross section is smaller and just like more aerodynamic and whatnot. Like Gladius is aerodynamic, but like there's some iffy things. I love how it looks. Don't get me wrong. Like
I personally love the Gladius.
I think Gladius looks like 10 times better than Arrow. That's like personal opinion. I don't like the boxiness of Arrow or anything like that. I hate when the wings fold. It looks like crap to me. It's disgusting to me personally, right? Especially like if you could like land first and then fold the wings, then it would make sense to me, kind of. But like when you're landing and flying still with these wings folded up, it's like, if you're in third perspective, to me this is
I don't know, to me apparently this is just an Arrow hate video, but it just looks kind of like when I look at the Gladius, I see this looks like a fighter jet. When I see the Arrow, I just think like this looks like a toy, like a go-kart,
Okay, I don't have that feel.
It's just so small. It's just like, I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, lots of interesting tidbits in that video.
I just want to throw my take on the video quickly, and that is, I did not even watch it. And don't get me wrong, this is not like some hate towards Subliminal or anything. I think the guy is freaking amazing. We all use Subliminal when we play the game, regardless of the patch or whatever, because the guy is like, his videos are like so well made about every ship, and then compared to some other ships there should be like similar or whatnot. It just that for me personally, this patch right now where everything is reset to 0 and it's obvious, and they even talked about it, like they're going to change things now from now on. I just feel like this is information that I don't really care about. But for those who do, I mean, it's a great thing to have it, right? I mean, he was just streaming anyways, and he has the opinion in numbers, and why not make it, right? So I don't have anything against the video. I just don't find it useful for myself. That's all. Yeah,
and that's fair enough. Like, I think, like, honestly, that's kind of why I've kind of, since the flight model change, the first flight model change we got, I kind of stopped trying to like really focus on PvP for that exact reason. It was like after that first flight model changeover and things became so different, I was just like, oh, okay, I get it. Like I can put hours and hours and hours of effort into learning this particular flight model, and how to PvP and the tactics and stuff like that, for this particular flight model. But that could all change. And for me, that's kind of where I was like, well, I'll do it casually, but so I don't know, similar kind of an outlook there. But stuff like this, like, little tweaks to mechanics and stuff, I still find this kind of interesting.
I'm not
even though,
talking about
like you said, it's like it's absolutely going to change. We know it's going to change. It's always been a changing kind of a meta thing, Talon this patch, Arrow the next patch, Gladius the next patch, Buccaneer the next patch. It's always been like that, but it's still, I also just like the way he did it too. So I get what you're saying, but it's fun great. If that's kind of what you're into.
I agree that, I mean, it's great to have a video like that. Like there's nothing wrong with it, especially the new patch, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yeah.
Well, and it's going to be free flight, there's going to be free flight soon. And then these new players, potentially, if they're spending money, and they'll be able to hopefully do Xenothread, and in doing Xenothread for a couple of days, you want to make you enough money to buy a ship, and then you might want to check which ship you want to buy, and then you can check Subliminal in the current patch, right? So it's great that he does that. I love the fact that he exists as a content creator, so it's super great. The next one is something that both of us are more excited for in general.
Yeah.
And
but not excited for.
Well, no.
After watching this video.
It's about trading, and I'm sure both of us are excited about trading. You more than me, for sure. That's like I always see trading.
I just love space trucking.
Yeah, no, I love it as well. Just like there's some things that I would do rather, but space tracking will always be part of my rotation. I will always have something to have a possibility to just move things from point A to point B.
But
go for it. Go for it.
Okay, I was gonna say, but like I don't know, and this is not news to anybody who's been playing StarCitizen for the last year or so. Trading's pretty busted.
Yeah.
And it's just got more and more busted as things progressed, and for the most part I was just kind of like, okay, whatever, things are broken sometimes. But this is a video by Jack Axton, which I think we've highlighted before. If you guys are into trading and stuff like that, then he used to do a state of trade kind of video a couple times a week, where he'd basically update on like price trends of different commodities and stuff like that. Fully kind of premature based on how basic things are, but it was kind of cool to see him kind of like, he had a very kind of like a news broadcaster kind of like a trade show, and it was cool. But anyway, so he stopped playing for a while, obviously, because trading has been progressively broken, and he just put this video out called "The Trouble with Trading," and he goes through in detail how broken trading is, where it started, and how it just became more and more broken over the patches. And I have to say, this was a bummer for me, man. I mean, it's still a good video, like watch it, but man, it just really illustrates how much trade has been on a back burner, and how little effort has been put into fixing it, even as it gets more progressively broken, because of active decisions made by the developers, and apparent refusal to dedicate any resources, however small, to kind of try to mitigate that, to allow for that, to allow for trading to be a viable gameplay profession again. And I was pretty surprised. Like, I know
we both
I've known for a while.
From this video.
I've known for a while that trading is broken, but like seeing just how broken it is, and how choices that CIG has made broke it even more, and then they just decided to leave it like that, was,
because it's obviously they obviously don't care about this, and we talked about this before, because we are actually interested in this game loop, right? Game mechanic, and I think we agreed in the end that the biggest problem is I wouldn't even mind. I wouldn't even mind what they're doing, because we are in alpha, and as long as we are in alpha, sure, whatever. Like, you got to do what you got to do. However, some things are so silly, man. Like that it's mind blowing. Like, something that I did not know is, if any server 30Ks, so there must be thousands of servers, like, or clusters where we play, right, with 50 people. If any of these server crashes into 30K, every server on that in that region resets commodities, which means that whenever you get on a fresh server, there's probably nothing to trade with, which is insane.
And there's never any, like, there's never going to be more than like 15-20% of the capacity of like a commodity outpost. Never.
And then it screws up margins as well. And literally, like right now, and throughout this whole video, he does something that I used to do while I was streaming StarCitizen, like relatively recently, last patch or whatever, where I would do the same thing. It takes about 40-45 minutes to do a run with a Caterpillar, investing 70,000 for a profit of like sub 15,000. in the same time I can do like 4 or 5 surveillance missions with the same
Yeah.
ship, Caterpillar, and make profit
Yeah.
of 100,000 without any risk.
And part of that too also had to do with that 30K thing, because now correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he say that like when 30K happens and a server shuts down, it actually on the sell
Resets.
side, so on the demand side, it considers that as commodities sold. So basically you have max buy prices at all of the outposts, or very high or close to max, and then the lowest possible sell prices at all the locations to sell. It was just rough, man. Like,
and even
and
if
I
you're
get it,
lucky, like if you're on a great server, I don't think any server survived like more than like 12 hours stops or something.
well,
Like there's no way.
especially because the economy is now linked between all of the servers, all the
servers,
regions.
So every
so
30K
EU,
resets everything.
NA, so, and I get it from a development perspective. This is very much an alpha thing where it's like, we got it in, we know it works, so divert resources elsewhere to work on stuff. But from the perspective of a player who thinks that they're playing something that is a, early access title, but like it's like, like CIG constantly goes on about how this is a live access, this is a live game environment and stuff like that.
It's not.
When you you see this sort of neglect for an aspect of the game, and you realize, it's just not like the marketing, and Chris Roberts himself can try to spin it however he wants, but at the end of the day,
Nowhere
this
near,
is a
dude.
project that's
Nowhere
in
near.
development, and you're like, and there's very few resources devoted to maintaining that live game
loops,
development,
right? Yeah,
that live gameplay experience in any really meaningful level, especially when, and again, this is armchair deving here, and I talked about this before we went live, but like, especially when it seems like there are some very easy / low resource fixes that they could have put in just to like improve quality of life, and they haven't.
That's not even the worst for me.
And I'm not sure, just to be clear here, I'm not being like, CIG doesn't know what they're doing, etc., etc. It's just like, it's just a bit of a wake up call.
For me, that the biggest issue, I have two problems. One is, don't try to sell it as a live service game or whatever, when it obviously isn't.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of deceiving people, which is what I always have issues with. The other problem is, why don't we know this? Like, we don't know this. Like, we need someone to dig and figure out so much shit, and then watch a 40-minute long video or whatever.
Someone to do understand all this active testing just to find out, like, why is trade broken? You know what I mean?
What problem?
And how did you get this?
Why did CIG not tell us this? Are they not telling us because they don't want people to stop buying Taurus, or like stuff like that? Like, why?
Maybe, I don't know.
It makes me question so many things, and
it's just stuff like this. Like, seeing this just makes those statements by CR, like talking about how, like, oh well, StarCitizen already has more aspects of gameplay in it than a lot of other finished titles. It's like,
no,
I don't just, then I see stuff like this, and it's just like, it just makes that statement seem,
I just feel like it's unnecessary, man. Like, they could say with the way things are, and people would still support the project, man. Like, you don't have to lie in a project like this. Well, maybe you do, but I would hope that we as backers are smarter than that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyways,
this ended up
great
being a little
video.
bit longer and a little bit of a downer, so apologies if people are watching this, but it's important if you were at all interested in trade and kind of and stuff like that. This was kind of an eye-opener. And to be fair, like, and this is mostly anecdotal, or information that's kind of done through this guy and his team's testing. So it may not be 100% correct, but like, this is one of the guys who's been most involved in trading that I know of. So I think as far as a source goes, seems pretty reliable. But yeah, watch it, see what you think.
It's a
Commiserate
a
with
lot
me
of
if you're
information, and
yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
yeah.
I'm not gonna go like we have a list always here, but I'm gonna just skip over to Captain Berks because we're doing YouTube stuff. Captain Berks did a video that is called 314 Easy Beginner's Guide. A lot of people do this. I think he's the first one who did it for 314. Just if you have a friend or if you need some help, it just like it's a semi-long video. It's about 30 plus minutes, but it's like step by step. You can have it on the other screen and literally do whatever he does if you want to get into the game, because I mean, you guys for sure remember when you started, and like I have a video like this as well. It was it's a bit outdated now. There's no new zone in it and whatnot, but like, finding your ship, taking off, where to go. And for us, this is all second nature. But yeah, if you have a friend who needs help in 314 and you don't have time to help them, it's a great video to do it. I'm not going to go into any details about this. Just a really good guide. That's what it is. And then we had a submission from Mikker. Thank you, Mikker. And it's another video that I am on fence about. Like, I think it's really good, but I think Maso liked it more. To credit where credit's due, the guy who made the video, he also said that he's not a professional, but obviously he has some knowledge about this topic. So I'm gonna let you take this one.
Well, okay, it's just it's basically an explanation of server meshing, kind of like from like on a more like semi-layman kind of terms, kind of a thing. And yeah, like Chegg says, I mean, this guy, he basically says, I'm not CIG or whatever, but like, this is how I understand server meshing is supposed to work, and kind of breaking it down. So I honestly, I hear this a lot, like where people are like, so what exactly is server meshing? And I feel like this was actually pretty decent. I also, I'm not a professional, but like what he was saying kind of lined up with what I've been able to kind of learn from watching dev videos and stuff like that about what server meshing is and kind of like how it works. It gets a little bit technical, but I feel like he uses pretty good analogies and makes it pretty easy to understand. There's a couple things that kind of jumped out at me in the video where I was like, yes, but I think overall it was good. Like I said, it was a good way of breaking down kind of one of the most complex pieces of tech that StarCitizen trying to develop, and something that everyone
talks about, like if you
because it's arguably the most important piece of tech that StarCitizen's trying to develop.
So most of the content creators, you'll hear them like, okay, I will have patience until this happens or whatever. So but the thing with me is like, I'm not really sure if this answers questions or makes them even more complex, because there's so much information flying around, and this probably is one of the better videos, but I don't even know, man. Like, it's just like you said, everyone thinks they understand it, but in reality, I don't think CAG ever sat down and explained this the way this guy did. We're like, okay, boys and girls, this is exactly what you need to know about server meshing. And because they always overcomplicated, they had like bunch of shit around it, and you're like, oh, I don't know, whatever.
Or it's like information that you kind of have to piece together from like this post over here
and different video years, right?
Here, you know.
But yeah, I mean, definitely worth to watch. And we both agree. We talked about this before. Thank you, Mikker, for giving us something to talk about. That's always amazing. We always look for that. And yeah, if you guys ever see something like this that you think you would like us to watch and feature in Stanton Gossip, just tell us. Drop it in the description. Most of the submissions we had on my personal Discord, my stream Discord or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Like, wherever you guys put it, we'll find it. It's okay. But you can put the link in the YouTube comments. We don't mind sharing that space, and with some other content creators. That's always fine with us. Like, as a matter of fact, this is why we do it. We want to show you what we are watching when we're not playing the game or doing podcasts or whatever. All right. We had a couple of tweets that were funny, and I'm gonna say that one of those tweets came from you.
Yeah. Well, technically, I mean, I can't take credit for it because I found this on the RP1 Facebook group, but it's basically StarCitizen in a nutshell, and it's I don't know, it's funny. It's just like it's basically just a picture of like one dude.
I see this in Serbia all the time, dude.
Digging a hole, and like a whole bunch of his other, co-workers or whatever, just standing around the hole, like getting on shovels and stuff.
They're first of all, they're leaning on the shovel, which is utilization of perks that shovel has, and then they're also morally supporting a person that is digging the hole. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways,
you need to see this. It's ridiculous, but it's so true. It's so true.
But then, like, above all the people standing around this guy, so the guy in the hole is labeled Core 1 of the CPU, and then all the guys standing around him are cores 2 through 10, and the nothing. GPU just doing nothing. And that is pretty much just StarCitizen in a nutshell as far as performance goes right now.
Maybe this is why CIG is telling us that if they hire more people for a certain job, it doesn't really work. Because, okay, never mind. The other one, just hilarious, man. Someone finally found a use for the trolleys in the game, and just gotta see it. I'm not gonna spoil any of that.
Okay. I will say that gives me something that I might just kind of take up doing. I'll just see how many NPCs I can vacuum up.
Yeah. Before we go, this is what we had for you guys tonight. But before we go, I want to be like super honest and tell you how I feel currently, especially about this show. Straight Out Stanton and Stanton Gossip are things that I look forward to throughout the week most. And it means a lot to me. I'm a depressed person, and just accomplishing something like this on a weekly basis helps me amazingly a lot. And I know both of us are in love with what we're doing with this with this project, right? However, Stanton Gossip at the beginning was a really good idea for us, but sometimes, like today, we struggle to come up with like content. And I'll be honest, like from my side, the current state of StarCitizen, while I still am very interested about following what's happening and talking about it, I really don't feel like playing it at all, and that's not going to change anytime soon, probably, unless something crazy happens. And therefore, I'm watching mostly videos on YouTube about the games that I'm playing, and apart from like important stuff for me to keep myself in the loop, like for example, I watch Mike for ATC, I might watch Mike for like weekly and monthly resets, ISCs, STLs, all that stuff, sure. But like digging for content when you're not interested in the game currently is very, very difficult for me personally. And today was one of those days where I told Masu, like, I don't really have anything. And we had this situation a couple times before where we would like somehow pull out the show, but then we skipped it as well sometimes. And I don't know, like that kind of feels not too good to me. So we had a conversation and decided to tell you how we currently feel about it. It's, what's the idea? And I think just when content jumps at us from anything, YouTube, Twitter, whatever the fuck it is, right? We are definitely going to feature that in Stanton Gossip. But in order to have like up to 30-minute episode, or have something to talk about, we will also go well, the idea is, we don't know if we're going to do it or not, but like the idea is to actually go through the last Straight Out of Stanton and Stanton Gossip episode through the comments that you guys made, and if there's something that we want to touch on, maybe we can break that down. And I mean,
we'll still be answering the comments and stuff like that, because of course, usually like to do that anyways. But some of them that we get are like the topics that are in there. It's like they're worth kind of breaking down in more detail than I think anybody probably has the patience to do in YouTube comment formats.
And it's just not the same. Like I've had situations where people would be upset about how I reply to them sometimes, and I'm the same. But then when you actually see me talk about this, you would maybe understand that I maybe even agree with you, but I just see it from a different perspective, and I cannot really put into words in a comment and whatnot. And yeah, I think that can fulfill the whole Stanton gossip episode. You want to add anything to that?
I don't know. Yeah, similar. Just kind of echoing like, I have just kind of found it harder and harder to kind of like find content that that doesn't feel a little stale. You know what I mean? Because just the situation where the game is, here comes the cat. Okay, there he goes. Bye.
Nice. It's like less inspiring, sometimes like we had a Dave video, right? And you're like, holy shit, I can't wait for Stanton gossip to talk about this, right? So that's gonna happen still 100%.
But most of our go-tos and whatever, I'm just finding it's kind of drying up, and it's not even necessarily that I'm not interested in watching content. It's more like I didn't really, nothing crossed my feed that just kind of felt noteworthy. So similar on that aspect. But besides that, tell us what you guys think. Like, I mean, we are seeing more and more people seem to be kind of watching Stanton gossip, but we're kind of at a point where it's like, on the days where we can't really come up with anything, do we just kind of call it, or do we just kind of have some discussions from the comments? I don't know. Let us know what you guys think.
We can always talk about stuff. It's me and Masa. It's not like we have an issue with that. But yeah, personally, I'd rather do something than skip the show. But that's on the table as well. Like, we don't know. We're talking about this, and we just wanted to involve you guys in it, because if there's no, I know it sounds like very common or whatever, but if there's no one to listen to this, then we wouldn't do it for sure. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of important feedback.
I mean, either that or option 3 is people just start dumping content in the comments.
That's the thing. There are times, there are weeks where like Monday, Tuesday comes, and I start feeling pressured. Like, oh crap, I need to find something for gossip, and I don't like that. If it comes naturally, I enjoy it, and I think you guys will be able to feel a difference, or you are able to. And it's just not the same for me. If the content jumps at me, or if I have to like dig through and find something, it's just different.
Well, I don't know. I mean, again, tell us what you guys think. I like the idea of kind of like talking about some of the more interesting stuff potentially in some of our like comments, discussions, and stuff like that, because I don't know, like I said, there's been some interesting things that like I just feel like I want to respond more to, but I don't want to type out a 4-page essay in a YouTube comment. But yeah, anyways, so that's kind of where we're at.
What we want to keep is like we want to keep it half an hour. Just like now we're a little bit over now, but like that's about it.
Oh my God, wrap it up.
We're wrapping it up. That's what it is. So we want to keep it on sub 30 minutes if we can, and keep the same day and all that. But yeah, we're just thinking about how to maybe improve it, like in general. All right.
Yeah.
Masa, you want to sign us up?
If you like this, throw us a like, I guess. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. And like I said, on Sunday we do a long form podcast if you aren't aware, and we stream it on my channel, twitch.tv/masscast, but it'll be up here Sunday evening or Monday on this YouTube channel. Like we said before, kind of if you've kind of found cool stuff that you've watched and stuff, feel free to throw it in the comments, because as we've discussed, we are kind of always on the hunt for stuff like that.
That's it. Have a great rest of your day and your week, and if not before, we'll see you Sunday. Take care. Bye.
Bye.